it would seem that video games and outdoor sports entertainment are on different poles of human activity. The antagonism of the lover of skiing or buying is a nerd sitting tirelessly at the computer, accumulating not the kilometers traveled off-road, but hundreds and thousands of hours in Dota. Nevertheless, even these sets sometimes overlap when it comes to such genre as sports simulator. 5 years ago, Ubisoft delighted fans of active winter holidays with a nice tip, and now it released Wider Republic, and we are facing Steep 2 or something really new. That Ubisoft NSC new project is similar to Steep has been clear since the announcement. Everything that we've seen in the old game, a huge open world filled with a lot of tracks for XM sports, a variety of equipments, costumes, quests and challenges, was transferred to Wider Republic almost unchanged. Most precisely, there are changes, but they are most quantitative, not qualitative. If in Steep there were only winter sport, and the entourage itself was a classic snowy highlands, here the map is noticeably more diverse. The reason is simple: added all kinds of bikes, from racing to stunt, respectively. The needs of type of terrain other than snow. 7 US national parks located on the US west coast were taken as the basic, combining them on a huge map. The result is a typical Ubisoft open world. A clear division into biomes, unlockable as you go through the regions, and unique handmade location, where the player is ambitiously invited to admire the particular beautiful views and take a couple of pictures of yourself surrounded by natural beauty. And there is a lot to look at. The picture is quite decent, even without discussing the huge size of the location. The changing time of day, weather effect, the aforementioned variety of environments, and very beautiful scenery all allow you to use the game as a means of relaxation. You can relax by traveling around the world. For this purpose, a special Zen mode is available in the main menu, where nothing will distract from the rest. However, the natural scenery, no matter how beautiful they are on the screen, it is better to admire in real life. And Riders Republic, despite all its external data, first of all about competition. We are offered to compete in several disciplines, which are divided into 5 types of careers: cycling, bicycle stunts, racing in the snow, stunts in the snow, and flying in the air. Each career is divided into 3 sports. For example, for bike stunts it is freeride and slopestyle. And the third type is a mock competition, like racing on the ice cream man's recycle or stunt skiing out of road scraps of wood. According to the career is divided and equipment to the respective sports. Here the developers have not been stringy, adding dozens of models for each discipline. Outfit differs not only in appearance but also in the characteristics. To open a more advanced one, you must perform tasks, unique experience and in-game currency. Finally, there are special means of transportation necessary for rapid movements to points of interest: jet skis, snowmobile, motorgilder and jet bike. Managing of these files is simple enough. A few buttons plus a combination to perform tricks. For hardcore gamers, I advise to disable grind and landing aid in the settings. Whites are more difficult but considerably more interesting, and you get much more experience points for successful tricks in this case. Let's move on the most important thing: the competition itself. Races available for starting are scattered all over the map. They appear not immediately, but as you progress through your career. In these races, you have to complete either with spots or with ghosts, records of other participants' past attempts. For completing the track, the player receives stars, which reflect the career progress and serve as a measure of the coolness of the character. Feeling of such competition are twofold. It seems to be the main type of competition in Wider Republic, but all the competition is taken offline. A feeling, of course, is not the same as on the web. It would be better to remove these ghostly opponents, especially since they are not so disembodied. You can bump into them, which sometimes lead to unfortunate consequences. With parallel multiplayer battles, also not everything is smooth. To take part in them, on the one hand, it's easy. You have to sign up in the line at the hub, which is a sport camp in the center of the map, but here is a limited number of participants, and a long set of players are not happy. A thought in anticipation of the start can their own thing, including grinding in the normal races. In addition to the useful races, there is also such a multiplayer discipline, a streak battle, a battle of two teams of 6 people each, where you need to earn points by performing tricks. Finally, the most potentially interesting multiplayer fun is the so-called must races. There are special events that are not available all the time, but only at certain times. More than 50 participants complete in this race, divided into several stages with a seamless change of sport discipline. In the previews it looks more interesting than it turns out in practice. Most of the player is rather a minus, chaotic crowding, terribly interface with orientation, and the use of multiple sports at once dramatically reduce the chance of winning for those who are not strong at least in one discipline. I was hoping for a kind of analog of Fall Guys in a sporty settings, but it turned out to be an ordinary race, and also not very comfortable. Perhaps this is a good challenge for those who are already bored with the usual tasks, but newcomers will get used to these mass races, will not get used to it immediately. Interaction with other players is not limited to competitions. Other fans of Virtual Extreme can be met directly while driving on the map. They will be marked with a special icon. Similarly, only the icon of a different color and size and point to the computer races. The idea is understandable, but it looks very fake. The players encountered in the open world can be called in a group. This allows, among other things, to complete with each other during the usual task. There is also indirect interaction, a separate creative mode where you can create your own tracks and share them with the community. Add photo mode, where we can do without it. A lot of settings, filters, poses and other gimmicks allows to create quite decent pictures. Ubisoft you reinvented the wheel, realizing almost the same simulator as a Steep, but this is clearly not the case, when the developers should be scolded for this approach. Yes, Riding Republic was not a revelation of milestone in the development of sport games. Before us is a logical and consistent development of the ideas of the previous Ubisoft NSE project, with similar to the author's principles of gameplay and branded service. The adventures here are the same, a nice picture, the effect of little more and enough, because of which having done for a couple of races, still for a couple of hours, and the diversity in the aspect has become even more. If you like Steep, then Novelty will not leave you indifferent.